Where are we today, Phil?
Charles Church. The reason we are here, the ruin of Charles Church, which is now dedicated to the people who died in the Blitz, was Plymouth's second church. St Andrew's Church was the only church in Plymouth at the time of the Civil War, before the Civil War. There were satellite chapels of St Budo, Pennycross, etc., but most people in Plymouth attended St Andrew's Church. The reason this was built, I believe personally, is because of Dr. Aaron Wilson's antipathy with the parishioners of St Andrew's Church. Because in late 1630s, Plymouth petitioned King Charles for a new church, because they gave the excuse that a growing population needed another church. So the king actually gave them permission. Now, one of the people who was involved with this, deeply involved, was a man called Robert Trelawney of Ham. And I'll be talking about him in another film, but it's irrelevant at the moment. Now, money was collected, and King Charles said, you can actually name your own vicar for this church. Unlike the time he took it away in St Andrews, he allowed Plymouth this time, but it was too late for most people from Plymouth. Their antipathy towards the king was ingrained in them. It wouldn't change their mind. But this church was started in 1641 on this land that was privately owned at the time, but paid for by the council. Work started here in 1641, but within a year, Civil War came to Plymouth, so a lot of the work on the church stopped. So the soldiers, so the people involved in building the church, could actually go out and build earthworks around Plymouth. We had two lines of earthworks in the Civil War. The inner town line, which is just along here, and the outer line, which is way up on the top of North Road West, North Road East, Hillcrest and Mount Gould Road. But at the time of the Civil War, Charles was unfinished, Charles Church. It had its own vicar, George Porter, who came here, even though it was unfinished. He commenced services here in 1643. They said there was a tarpaulin for a roof, a lot of the windows weren't put in, a lot of the stonework wasn't finished, but services were actually started in 1643 here. So soldiers, you'd find soldiers down here coming for the church services on Sunday, and families. And if you look across from Charles Church to Charles Cross Police Station, in 1642, at the end of 1642, you would have seen work on the church stopped. Work on an earthwork fort going up right under where that police station stands now, called Charles Fort, named in honour of this church. A church, incidentally, named for King Charles, and it's the only church in England named for a king. Charles Fort was built just where the police station is. And when they did work for the police station, when they started building work, a lady from Plymouth, an archaeologist, found a trench from the original fort underneath where the cells are now, someone told me. Underneath where the cells are, you will find a part of the trench from the Civil War, which was in front of the earthwork.
Thank you, Phil.
How was that?